my name's Bex. I'm going to take you through our vision for the future and some more detail about what's coming up on our summer roadmap. This is one of those sort of pinch me moments for me. I've been at Arbor just a little over a year. Those of you who joined us last year will know that ArborFest was actually in March last year, and that was right when I was interviewing for this job as Chief Product Officer. And I watched the live stream, so hello to everyone on the live stream. I watched the live stream of James and Damien giving this product roadmap talk last year. And it was a really important moment for me personally because it was the moment I thought, okay, I really need to get this job. I really need to join this team and work with this team of people. And the reason is that my background, my career up until this point has been in data technology. My job has been building technology and working with businesses to help them to use data to transform how they work, to have more impact, and to improve their working lives. So that is exactly the mission that Arbor has here, and I was so excited to bring my experience to this mission to help schools, trusts, and local authorities transform how you work, improve your working lives, and improve the impact that you have using data and technology. So Arbor, in the beginning, really was founded on a simple belief that James and others had about 15 years ago, that schools deserved a better MIS. And in my opinion, as a product person, there are two key ways that they approach this that has led to the success that we are enjoying and seeing all around us today at this fantastic event. The first one is they embraced a technological shift at the right time. So I'm talking about the cloud, which we now all take utterly for granted in our daily lives and our professional lives and wouldn't think of building a product without it. But at the time, it felt new, scary, maybe like a fad, but it was embraced at the right time and it really catapulted Arbor forward and helped us solve a problem in a new way. The second is they took the opportunity to really level up the user experience. So they learned from other business software and UX practice outside of EdTech as well, and brought some of those tenets of usability and flexibility into Arbor and made them a founding principle. And so that's why we're seeing the impact that we're seeing with Arbor today. And we measure impact really closely. We care whether or not we're being successful on transforming how schools work. It's not just rhetoric. And we are very proud that we are reducing workload and overwhelm for staff in every role. We are finding on our surveys that on average 70 minutes per staff member saved per week. And 74% of you agree that Arbor has improved your working life. And crucially, given what I said at the start, 81% agree that Arbor improves the way you use data. And as he said, being data-informed, particularly in a resource-constrained world, is so important. How do you use data to make decisions about the best way to use your time and resources for maximum impact? So we're really proud of the impact we have so far, but you didn't come here to talk about what we've done before. It's just all about laying those foundations for what's coming in the future. So one of the reasons, there's two reasons really that I'm so excited to get to lead the product team into this next phase of Arbor's evolution. And the first one is that we don't just believe that schools deserve better better MIS. We think they deserve better software. So we have been going on a journey, acquiring some companies over the last couple of years to build out and help us create that future. And I want to take a moment to talk in a little bit more detail about how we see this coming together in the next couple of years. So the Arbor School Management Suite, it brings together best-in-class systems that are the backbone of your school's operations. That best-in-class piece is really important to us. So we've spent 15 years building up expertise in MIS. We're now joining that together with people who've had expertise in finance, HR and recruitment, and timetabling. We believe that you need deep expertise to build the right software for these complex problems. We also know, though, that real magic will happen when we can actually connect these systems, and that is the job that is facing us as a product team. Now, I've done a lot of product integration work in my career, and I can tell you it is not always easy, and it is not always quick. However, we know that we have to deliver impact for you quickly, and we have to make real steps on this journey fast. So that's why I'm highlighting these two pieces at the bottom. The first one is the Arbor Data Warehouse. The first step that we're taking is making sure that data from every single Arbor product will flow into the same data warehouse and therefore can be analyzed side by side, and you can get all of the benefit that comes from seeing data and trends next to each other rather than different systems that can really spark the ideas for how you can improve what you're doing on the ground. And then the second piece relates to Habitude, the other company that most recently joined the Arbor School Management Suite. Now, Habitude, you'll probably hear a lot about today if you haven't already. We're really excited about this piece of technology. Habitude focuses on task automation, and in particular, how tasks fit together in workflows. And they were built specifically for maths, but the technology that they have will enable us to create this kind of transformation at school level and for local authorities as well if we implement it the way we're planning to. So just to sort of explain what we mean by that, task automation is about all of those little bits of work that you have to do when you're between systems. So you're not deep in the world of HR, you're not deep in the world of MIS, but you're creating something, a workflow that has to hop between systems. Classic example being onboarding a new staff member, where you have to set them up in every system. Task automation and workflow is about automating those steps. So for example, it is already true, due to this, that when you create a staff record in Sam People, it will be created in Arbor automatically. You don't have to do that yourself. I'll talk a little bit more later about more plans we have there. It's also really important to us to be a great ecosystem player. Yes, we want to build the school management suite and bring together those core back-office functions and make them work together really beautifully. But we really recognize that that is not your entire software stack to run a school, trust, or LA. And so we need to make sure that we're playing well with other partners. We're investing in our API, we're investing in our developer experience to make that better and better over time. So I'm really excited that we're poised for this sort of next phase of school transformation. And we're going to learn from what worked in the past, and we're going to have success again, I believe, because we are again ready at the right moment to embrace a technological shift. We are embracing at Arbor the technological shift that AI is bringing to us. And in much the same way as the cloud, it feels a bit new, a bit scary. Some people think it's a bit of a fad. I understand the skeptics. I've been working with AI for the last sort of 10 years. In one way or another, and I have seen how it can transform how businesses are operating and how people are working outside. And I hope what you'll take from this talk is that we are implementing AI very, very thoughtfully and always with those impact metrics in mind. How does this actually save time within a school? How does this actually improve outcomes? We're not interested in faddy, sort of shiny gimmicks. And we're taking the opportunity to level up the user experience again. So, UX has moved forward in the last 15 years. Practice has moved on. We all use software in every single aspect of our daily lives, most of it mobile, so that's a big push. And so one of the things I've done since coming in is bring in some more expertise into the team and some more resource into the team around user experience design so that we can, over time, level up our user experience again with new things that we ship, make sure we're shipping them to be really innovative and take advantage of modern techniques. So I'm going to quickly rattle through a few big releases that we have released since ArborFest last year that really showcase those two things, embracing AI and leveling up the user experience. The first one is auto absence. It was announced on this stage last year that we were working on this, and it is now live and available for you. So auto absence, simply put, does the listening to the voicemail for you. So when a guardian rings up and leaves a message, it will automatically be transcribed and it will go automatically filled into your absence report in Arbor with a suggested absence code and a very simple workflow for your attendance officer to approve, deny, and then follow up. It's saving on average, depending on the size of the school, 60 to 90 minutes per day. It's also putting full records in there, so somebody is actually not having to type something in, like just sick, because they're moving on quickly. The full record is in there, which is great for safeguarding and great for handover notes to teachers. So we're getting really great feedback. And not only does it save time, it improves outcomes, exactly what we want. We have released in the last year for everybody 3 time-saving and intuitive pieces of AI application. So in 2 places, you can now use AI to draft text for you. Anybody can use this. You do not have to know how to use AI. You do not have to be a data whiz. You just have to know how to describe what you'd like to get done. And so you go in and you can, this example on screen here is the student summary. It will pull from all of the data that we have about that student. You can then put in some messy, not spelled necessarily correctly, quick bullet points about the child that you know as the person who knows them well, not worry about the fact that it's not formatted well. And Arbor will turn that into a really well-written, data-informed piece of comms that you can then send out. You retain control over everything. You can edit it yourself as you go forward. We also have launched this for any email draft, so it's in the comms module, so any email draft, you can use this suggest email. And we've, interestingly, as a really interesting application of it when it comes to democratizing access to data within your school, you can now in Custom Report Writer describe the formula you would like Arbor to complete. So for example, I'd like everything above 90% to be green, please. And you don't have to know how to do that actually in Custom Report Writer. You just have to know what the outcome is that you want, type it in, and then you can use it. Another one we launched, we spoke about at ArborFest last year that is now live and actually has over 200,000 downloads already is the student app. The student app was built with usability in mind. Students need to be able to just pick this up and get value from it straight away. So it's got very kind of modern, slick UX. You can streamline all your comms onto Arbor, so you don't need a separate system. And your students are empowered. They have access also to an AI assistant that really helps them to know what they need to bring to school that week, what homework assignments do they have, etc. And now an example from Some People. Some People have recently shipped some big improvements to their payroll that really reduce and simplify down the experience of getting ready to payroll. They show you just the information that you need to make sure that your payroll is accurate and will always match with the finance team. And they give you new controls as well, right in situ, to help you get things done quickly. So I talked to you through a few bigger ones there, but big or small, every release is designed to improve your working life. And actually, our teams, when I get up on stage and I represent their work, I can only show you about this much of what they're actually doing, because we've actually shipped over 250 improvements into the Arbor MIS products since the last ArborFest. And many of those, I'll give some examples of them here. These are some fan favorites. These are some of the ones that got the biggest response in our community. So for example, you can now copy an existing report card setup across to help you start the new one. Sounds simple, but we've been told this saves hours, even days of time. You can push down custom report writer templates from the MIS, which saves a massive amount of time and allows consistent reporting. All of these are things we might think of as smaller quality of life improvements, but they all add up to big improvement over time. And they are all informed by your feedback. So everything that we ship is informed by your feedback. We already had a feedback portal. I hope many of you have used it. But what we've done recently is brought it into the product. So you now actually, without leaving the product, can, with a couple of clicks, submit your ideas. That comes through to us in the product team. The other big difference that this has made behind the scenes is just like you need to use data to make sure you're having maximum impact, so do we. So we get 600 to 800 on average per week during term ideas that come through this portal. And so we've invested in much better tooling our side to analyze that for themes and trends to understand how can we build the right things for our customers. I say this to you because it's so important. It's the lifeblood of how we make sure that what we're doing delivers impact for you. So please, please do give us your feedback. And lastly on feedback, Arbor Labs. So Arbor Labs is another thing that we announced last year at ArborFest that is now live, and I hope many of you have signed up to it, but if you haven't, I really encourage it. It gives you access to early prototypes and beta releases. It's part of how we're making sure we're having that push for great usability, because we're building with our users. You're giving us feedback all the way through as we're shipping things, and we get innovations out to you faster for you to try. You also get to join a community as part of being a part of Arbor Labs online, where you get to speak to other like-minded, innovative people who are interested in building the future of Arbor with us. So without further ado, the actual summer roadmap. So what do I mean by the summer roadmap, just to be super clear? This is what we're working on over summer. Some of the things on this roadmap will be shipped and live before the next school year begins. Some of the things on this roadmap are larger investments that will take us more time, but everything on this roadmap should be with you within the next academic year. So we're not talking about really far out things here. These things are really in progress. So we have 5 things that we need to get right for you that are going to help me sort of shape up and describe this roadmap. And hopefully there'll be familiar themes after that intro. The first way is automating away repetitive tasks. If you have to do it more than once and it's just sort of little bitty repetitive tasks, we want to just clear that away and get it off your plate. We want to make it possible for data to actually inform action in real time. So it's all well and good to have a report at the end of term saying how things could have been better that term, but you really want that data in the moment. We're focused on connecting workflow and data across systems. We talked about that before. Empowering groups of schools, whether that's a trust or a local authority, because whichever if you're a school, whether you're in a trust or in a local authority, the group that supports you can really help to save you time and transform that school on the ground if they have the right tooling themselves. And lastly, we're just going through trying to remove wasted time wherever we can. So even if we can't automate the task for you completely as part of the first roadmap pillar, we just want to improve that experience and remove friction and wasted time wherever we can. We're always on the hunt for that. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of each. Automating your data retention policy. This is a really nice one that's coming. It is AI powered. So this should be with you before the next school year starts in September. You can either set up your data retention rules yourself manually if you prefer, or upload the text of your data retention policy, and Arbor AI will go through and create the rules for you based on your policy. So how long you're supposed to keep each bit of information about a student. You can then use Arbor's bulk actions to easily keep up to date with that and action that policy so it definitely stays up to date. And really, really nice, it's very easy to export and share rules between schools. So if you are a MAT with a consistent policy, you can set this up once and then you can start to roll it out across all of your schools. Automating the steps in a workflow. I would set this up at the beginning. I explained what Habitude is. Habitude is all about those tasks between systems. It's about automating and connecting up systems. Because a lot of the sort of final mile or last bit of your workflow is often a spreadsheet or an email that you've got to send or something like that. So we've continued to invest in the Habitude product since they joined the Arbor family, and a couple of new features, one of which you're seeing here. You can now get Habitude as part of your workflow to automatically save a document into Google Drive or SharePoint for you. So somebody's filled in that form, you've now got a PDF version of it, but your policy says it has to be saved over there. You don't have to do that job anymore. That would just be done for you. Of course, since they've joined, we've started to focus more on connecting up key workflows within the Arbor suite. So one thing that is already live is you can automatically use Habitude as part of a workflow to create students or staff profiles inside of Arbor, something that was previously a bit complicated to do. This has been really helpful so far for our trusts who have staff members moving between sites. So one of the things that's coming up next is we're going to allow Habitude to read the roles and permissions from Arbor. That means if you're setting up a process where you need your SLT or a particular pastoral lead to be the approver in that process, you don't have to set that all up again. It'll read straight through from Arbor into Habitude, and you can set that up and roll it out trust-wide, knowing that you've got the roles and profiles set up in Arbor. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is Ask Arbor. So Ask Arbor is a built-in AI assistant. It is currently live in labs. Many people have helped us test it, and it will be out within the next academic year, sooner rather than later. And essentially, it will allow you to just ask any question of the MIS, and a lot of the time, it can do that small task for you. So if you just need to find where a student is, because you've got someone on the phone who needs to know where that student is, or you're about to go into a meeting and you need a quick bit of data, you can just ask Arbor to do that for you in natural language, and it will bring you back the actual response from your MIS. Okay, data that informs action in real time. I just talked about Ask Arbor, which is still in labs. But with Ask Arbor Canvas, we are taking it to the next level in terms of data analysis. So you can use natural language prompts along the side here. It zooms in a little bit on this GIF to help us out. You can use natural language prompts to ask questions of your data. In this example, I've been asked to help my head teacher pull together a quick report on maths and English, SEN, for a governor meeting, because that was a hot topic last time, and they haven't given me very much notice. So I've been able to come in here and ask a quick few questions and prompts and be presented with the charts that I want. I can edit these charts. I can, if it wasn't quite right, I can delete it. I can change the text. I can add my own summary. You are still in the driver's seat. You just don't have to do anything where you sort of export to Excel and piddle about with it in a spreadsheet and then get it charted and all of that. All of that work is gone. You can focus on the meaning behind that data and add in your commentary about what you think should happen with that data, which is going to be so, so impactful. And someone who spent the first half of my career working as an analyst, I understand how painful that workflow is, and I'm incredibly excited that this is actually a reality. The next thing we're doing is we're really leveling up our data visuals and how much sort of more sophisticated analysis you can do within the MIS. This feature here will come first to Matt MIS, but the way we're building it will allow us to roll it out in school MIS as well. You're going to be able to see multiple and much more sophisticated data visuals natively within the MIS. So as long as the data that you need is in the MIS, you shouldn't need to, for many tasks, go out and use a kind of different BI tool. Obviously, it might be different if the data needs connecting. But a lot of the tasks that you need to get done will be much more possible to do within the product itself. You'll also, crucially, be able to click on the data. This is a massive piece of feedback and something that I know very well from my previous life building data tech. You have to be able to understand why has that line gone up? Is that data correct? And add your commentary around it. And you'll be able to do that all from within one screen. Connecting workflows and data across systems. So the first thing I mentioned when I talked about the Arbor Suite is that we want to make sure that data from all of those systems flows into the Arbor data warehouse and you can take advantage of it in your BI tool. We already plugged SAM People data into the Arbor data warehouse. That's already there. Next up is the SAM People recruit data. So all of your recruitment and HR data and your MIS data all in one place. We're also working on building a deeper and better integration between Timetabler, which we acquired last year, and Arbor School MIS. There already is an integration, but we know it can be improved. So the first thing that we're working on now that we're one joint team is making sure that you can easily push in-year changes through from Timetabler. So we know that can be painful at the moment. We know at the moment you would have to end all timetable slots in order to do this, and there's just pain there that shouldn't be there. So we are working on making it easy to make Timetabler your source of truth and easily push, transparently push in-year changes through. We are building a new Microsoft integration. So not only will this allow you just to sort of manage the user profile management and matching all of that up that you would expect from a Microsoft integration, we're also pulling Microsoft assignments data into the MIS as part of this integration. What this is going to allow you to do, and students and parents, is see all of the kind of assessment and attainment and assignment data all in one place. How is my student doing? And the thing that's really exciting about this, from my point of view as well, is that it opens the door to us then being able to pull that data into things like the AI student summary that I mentioned before. So we'll have more data to inform how is your student doing. There won't be these sort of massive blind spot around homework if you're using that Microsoft Teams integration. Next up, empowering groups of schools. And I know with a roadmap presentation, it can get a bit bam, 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 because there's a lot to get through. So I hope you're taking pictures of the slides and happy to answer any questions at the end. So what are we doing to empower groups of schools? Well, I've already talked about Ask Arbor and Ask Arbor Canvas. At the moment, those are in labs for school level MIS, but Is that working? Fabulous. Okay, great. I will just wander around a little bit less now. We, of course, know we need to bring them to Matt MIS as well. So we are working on making sure that within the next academic year, our central teams can enjoy all of the same time-saving and data analytics capabilities. And speaking of Matt's, again, we are building out and building on our existing suite of central controls. So we know that Matt's not only need to see all of the data from those schools, but we need central controls. So within Matt MIS, you can already do a whole load of things centrally. You've got your assessments centrally. We've recently launched consents pushdowns, so you can make sure those are consistent across your Matt. Next up are business role and application setting set downs, things that you just want to get done consistently across your school without having to log in to each one of them separately. So that's going to include security settings, parent portal and student app configuration, and business role permissions and setup. But it's not just our mats that we need to support, and we have a brand new MIS product specifically for local authorities that is now in beta and being used by some of our partners there. So what's going to be in there? LAs have obviously a slightly different need to mats, but you have real-time dashboards for attendance and behaviour, so you get to get all of that data automatically from your schools. You'll have the tools you need to meet statutory requirements. You'll have tools for things like data sharing agreements that you need to manage. You'll also have more than that, that's just what fits on the slide, but you'll be able to have access to things like Arbor's national benchmarks and the BI connector. So that's really, really exciting and in beta at the moment, helping us work out how to bring the best product fully to market. Arbor Finance now. So we see we're busy across all of our teams. Arbor Finance has been doing a lot of work on data views and on assets. So again, we're making sure that Arbor Finance data will flow into the Arbor Data Warehouse, and you'll be able to analyze it alongside all your other data, particularly powerful again if you're in LA, because that just automates that process of getting that finance data visibility from your schools. They're also working on an asset management module, which will allow you to record and monitor assets, link to purchases, and have much better kind of contract management system going on within your finance tool. Over to SAM People. So SAM People have been busy removing complexity for mats. So they are working on what you would call a multi-establishment employee, but put simply, it is one single staff record for each staff member, mapped to the human, not mapped to which school they're in. This is really, really important in terms of reducing complexities for mats. You often have staff members who move between schools, either on a permanent basis, hopping between schools, or regularly in and out of different schools. And it's bringing it all into one place so you can manage that employee's performance, contact history, make sure there's no duplication and everything's in one place. Also within the world of SAM People, we have SAM People Recruit, which is our applicant tracking system. So they are working on a brand new job board. This is going to be a massive improvement of candidate experience. So candidates will be able to view and apply for MAT vacancies from one place with one single account where they can upload their CV and kind of get cracking. It's going to be great for our recruiters as well. They're going to be able to generate larger, more relevant candidate pools, and they're going to be able to target certain ads specifically, to sort of, for example, to a particular location or skill set. Okay, removing wasted time wherever we can. We're on to the 5th roadmap pillar. Suggest text. I talked earlier on about how we've already shipped some features where you can have text suggested into the product for everyone. So those student summaries that pull from the student data and create you a really nice email format that can be sent out for a quick update, and actual emails, any email itself. We're taking that further, and we're using our knowledge of the kinds of long-form content that schools need to write to help you write longer pieces of text and more complicated pieces of text, including report cards and analysis. So Arbor will always, when we implement AI, give you full control. We give you full control over what data you want it to pull from or not pull from, given the context. We give you control over editing the actual final piece before it goes anywhere, so you get a draft state. But also, you can create, as either a central team or the SLT, your school's tone guide. So we know that AI can sometimes coming out, even though it's now very good, sometimes it can come out sounding a bit like it was written by a robot. But you'll have your school's tone guide that will really, really help to make sure that the text that comes out needs minimal editing in order to sort of look, feel, sound authentically as though it's from your school, and it's all driven by the real data. So all it's doing, it's not negatively impacting outcomes, it's simply saving you a job actually drafting all of that text. And finally, we are working on a brand new assessment module. I could probably have, for the purposes of this presentation, nested this under any one of those roadmap pillars, because it's going to have a real focus on data. It's going to automate away tasks that you don't want to do. It's going to be designed with mats in mind, so you can use push-down controls and central controls. And it's going to help you connect up different systems, because the clearer data structures are going to make it much easier to connect with other third-party assessment tooling. But I've brought it in here because fundamentally what it's going to do is remove an awful lot of wasted time on something that is completely fundamental to schools, which is your assessments. So we are doing a complete rebuild. We are looking at it from first principles, taking everything we've learned in the last 15 years and looking at best class that's out there, and bringing in really robust, collaborative user experience design. So we have done multiple rounds of fully clickable, editable prototypes, which we can give to users and watch them use it and see where they fall over, get them to help us push the boundaries and understand how we really need to make this work for them. And the reason that's exciting isn't just because I'm a product nerd, but because I've been able to see the evolution of this module from something that didn't feel that different from where we are now to something that radically simplifies the experience but still gives you all the same flexibility that you need to make it work for your school or for your trust. So this is a large piece of work, this is a large investment. There's still one more lab session after this one where you can go and see those prototypes and hear from Aidan, our product manager, who knows all about this in more detail if you'd like to. And there'll be further rounds of user testing and more chances to give your feedback. This will not be ready overnight. It's something that we will release in stages. We will plan very carefully because, of course, anybody who is using the current module will need a lot of support. We'll make sure there's a really clear migration path and there's all of the documentation that you need to make sure that you're set up successfully, we time it correctly, etc. So this is a piece of work that's going to be ongoing for a good while, and we'll make sure we partner also, I see Zoe in the audience, with the customer success team for anyone who's coming on board. But it's a really, really exciting piece of work that we think not only is going to revolutionize assessments, but also help us with some of those, that move towards a simpler, cleaner user experience over time. So, thank you so much for listening. I know that was content dense, but I hope you're as excited as me and the team are about a lot of these updates. I have quite a few calls to action for you because we really want you to help us build the future of Arbor. So there's another session after this in Arbor Labs Live. It does close slightly earlier than some of the other sessions here, so get to it if you want to get there and you haven't been already. We do have a session being run by the product team at 1:05 where you can have a chance to input to that continuous improvement roadmap I mentioned, the 250 that we shipped in the last year. We're going to do a fun exercise where at the end of it, we will collaboratively put something on the roadmap together that Arbor will build. You can, if you want to know more, I've given you a whistle-stop of some of the other products in the suite and what's going on their roadmap. Visit them in the marketplace. We have a termly MIS webinar reveal that will be happening in June. Please sign up for labs. Please sign up for Arbor HQ with labs and give us your feedback. And finally, please do use the ideas portal in the MIS. We really are listening to it, and it really does impact the roadmap. Thank you.